For this project, I'll be using the Mandala Sparkle. This is a size 3 lightweight yarn, and I'm going to be using 2 of these to make the blanket. I'll also be using a size I crochet hook and a little pair of scissors and a yarn needle for weaving in my ends. So this project is just a basic granny square. Let me see if I can get this yarn started. Where is my end? So it's really simple and it just works round and round, and it ends up in a perfect square because it gets just as long as it does wide.
This blanket will be 28 inches when it's all finished.
So to start out, I'm going to make a little slip knot. So I'm just going to scoop this around and under to make my little pretzel. And then we just take this little part right here and pull it up, up, up. Now to start classic granny square, we want to chain 5. So here's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And then I'm going to slip stitch into the very first chain right here to make a little ring. So now I've got a little 5 chain ring. Now I'm going to chain 3, 1, 2, 3. That counts as my first double crochet. And now I'm going to do 2 more double crochets down into that little 5 chain ring. There's 1 and a 2. Now I'm going to chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and now I'm going to do 3 double crochets down into this little ring. So here's 1 double crochet, 2 double crochets, and 3 double crochets. Now I'm going to chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and repeat that with 3 more double crochets down into my ring. 1, 2, and 3. Now I'm going to chain 3,
1, 2, 3,
and then do 3 more double crochets. There's a 1 and a 2 and a 3. And now I'm going to chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and then I'm going to slip stitch into the top of this very first chain 3 that I made. So just slip stitch right into the top of that, and that brings me back around. So now I've got 4 sets of 3 double crochets and 4 sets of chain 3s. That is the start of my little granny square. Now I'm going to slip stitch across the top of this double crochet and this double crochet and into this first chain 3 space. So I'm going to slip stitch into this one, slip stitch into the next one, and then slip stitch into my next chain space. And here I'm going to chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and put 2 double crochets into this little chain 3 space. There's 1 double crochet and 2 double crochets. And now I'm going to chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and put 3 double crochets down into this 3 chain space once again. There's 1, there's a 2, and there's 3. Now I'm going to chain 1, and now we're going to be working into this next little chain 3 space right over here. And there I'm going to put 3 double crochets. There's 1, 2, and 3, and then chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and 3 more double crochets. 1, 2, 3. And that is going to be what all of our corners look like throughout the rest of our granny square. So a beginning corner is a chain 3 to count as our first double crochet, then 2 double crochets, chain 3, and 3 double crochets. Then we chain 1, and if the next one is a corner, we're going to do 3 double crochet, chain 3, and 3 double crochet. So we're going to chain 1 to move over to this next corner, and we're going to do 3 double crochets. There's 1, 2, and 3. And now we're going to chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and then do 3 more double crochets. 1, 2, and a 3. Now I'm going to chain 1 and repeat that. So this first row is all, well, this is our second row technically. It is all corners, as you can see. And row 3 is going to have corners and sides. So we'll show you how that goes. So if you've done your 3 double crochets, chain 3, 3 double crochets, chain 1. Once again, we're going to slip stitch into the top of our chain 3. Then we're going to slip stitch across the top of that first double crochet, slip stitch across the top of the second double crochet, and then slip stitch down into that 3 chain space. And now we're going to chain 3, 1, 2, 3. And since we are in a corner, this is going to be the beginning corner. And this is the way that every row is going to start, because you'll always slip stitch into the top of your chain 3, and then across the top of a double crochet, across the top of a double crochet, and then into this 3 chain space, chain 3, and then make a beginning corner. So we're going to do a double crochet, and 1 more double crochet, and then chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and then 3 double crochets. There's 1, there's 2, and there's 3. So we've just made the first corner of this row. Now we're going to chain 1. Now we're going to be working in the next chain space. So this is not a corner. So what we're going to do in this little chain space, this is a side, and we're just going to do 3 double crochets. 1, 2, and 3. Now we're going to chain 1, and our next 3 chain space is a corner. So we're going to do 3 double crochets, chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and 3 double crochets. There's a 1, a 2, and a 3. Now we're going to chain 1, and our next space is a 1 chain space, so we're just going to do 3 double crochets. There's 1, 2, and 3. Now chain 1. The next one is a 3 chain space, so we're going to do a corner. So 3 double crochets. There's 3, chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and 3 double crochets. 1, 2, and a 3. Now we'll chain 1. The next space is a 1 chain space, so we do 3 double crochets. 1, 2, and a 3. Chain 1. Move to the next page, which is a corner. So we'll do 3 double crochets, chain 3, and 3 double crochets. Oops, 1, 2, and a 3. Now we'll chain 1 and do 3 double crochets into that 1 chain space, and that completes round 3. we will chain 1 and slip stitch into the top of our beginning chain 3 of this round. So now we've got 3 little rows done of our little granny square. Oh. And now we're going to continue on. I'll do this round with you as well, and then I betcha you'll get the hang of it. You can see that this round, it consists of corners, which each corner has a 3 chain space, and then it has sides with little holes that just have 1 chain spaces. So in every 3 chain space, you're going to make a corner, which is 3 double crochet, chain 3, 3 double crochet. And in every 1 chain space, you're just going to put 3 double crochets. So to start out this round, of course, we slip stitch across the top of this double crochet and the next double crochet and slip stitch into that first corner space. So now we're going to do our beginning double crochet, which is 3 chains. There we go. Now we're going to do 2 more double crochets for our starting corner, and then chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and then 3 double crochets. 2 and 3. Now we're going to chain 1 and working into the next space. It is a chain 1 space, so we're going to put 3 double crochets there. Here's 2 and 3, and then we're going to chain 1, and the next space is also a chain 1 space, so we're going to do 3 double crochets there. There's 1, here's 2, and there's 3. Now we will chain 1, and the next one is a corner space, a little chain 3 space. So we'll do our 3 double crochets. 2, 3, and then chain 3, and then 3 more double crochets. 1, 2, and a 3. And then in our next little space, it is a chain 1, so we just do our 3 double crochets. 1, 2, 3, chain 1,
Double crochet, 2 double crochets, and 3 double crochets, chain 1.
Now I'm going to do a corner in the corner, so it's 3 double crochets, chain 3, 3 double crochets. I betcha you guys have the hang of it now. So I'm gonna chit chat while we're doing this row.
So I am making my baby blanket out of 2 of these little mandala sparkles.
I just love this yarn so much. I saw these colors and I just fell in love, and I didn't know what I wanted to make with it yet, but it's so soft that I thought a baby blanket would be just perfect. And I mean, the colors and the softness, it's just amazing. But you can make yours as big or as little as you want to. You could make it real tiny. I actually make these cute little blankets to to go in my dog's beds. I have 2 little dogs and 1 big dog, so I make blankets, you know, that fit their size. And so yes, like I said, you can make them as big or as little as you want to, or you can make them for your child's like doll. If your little kiddo has a special doll who needs a special blanket, you could make like a bigger blanket for your kiddo and then a smaller one for their doll, because you can see it just continues to get bigger as you add rounds. So I'm on my last side here, so each one of these chain 1 spaces is going to have 3 double crochets. 1, 2, 3, chain 1, and 1, 2, and 3, chain 1, and then we'll slip stitch into the top of our chain 3, and then slip stitch across the top of these 2 double crochets. There's 1, there's 2, and there's a slip stitch into that 3 chain space, and then we just start to the next row exactly like the rest of them. So each one of these corners is going to get 3 double crochet, chain 3, 3 double crochet, and each one of the chain ones will have 3 double crochets. The starting one, of course, starts with chain 3 and then 2 double crochets, chain 3, 3 double crochets. And that's it. You guys can go on forever to make this as big as you want to. So I'm gonna work on mine for a couple of days until I run out of my first spool of yarn. And then I'll show you guys how I connect my next spool of yarn. And then I'll keep on working until I run out of yarn. So you guys keep working on yours, and I'll see you in a minute. So it has been a couple of days and I have finally run out of my first skein of mandala yarn. And so I'm ready to connect my next little
Skein.
But I wanted to show you guys something. Oh, and here, take a look at how my square looks so far. Isn't that beautiful, the way the colors change? I just love it so much. Okay, but one thing that I did when I was picking out my yarn is that you can see here, when you look at the yarn, you can see the colors that are in this one skein of yarn, right? And I like to start with the center. Like I always pull the end out of my center of my yarn if I can, if I can find it. And so I start right there. And so starting in the center means that I'm going to end with this color that's out here. So when I selected my colors, I made sure that the ending of my first skein of yarn matched up with the beginning of my second one. So that I wouldn't have like a really sharp transition right here. But I want to show you that I actually probably didn't even need to do that, because you can see that throughout the blanket there's actually some pretty harsh transitions between these colors. So let's see, for example, like right here. So you have this super, super, super light gray, and then it, bam, all of a sudden changes to a pink. And that happens a couple of times throughout. So yeah, so it really doesn't matter, you know, what your skeins start and end with. Here's another one where it's really light pink, and then it's all of a sudden dark gray, and then light pink again. So, oh, that was because, yep, I was traveling this way. I started the new row, and then it, bam, went into pink right there. So you can see that it really doesn't matter. So when you're picking out your skeins, just get whatever you want, because it's going to end up looking kind of stripy and beautiful anyways, and that's fantastic. And you know, depending on the color scheme you get, or the color of mandala yarn, your stripes will be different colors. So all I'm gonna do to join my next one is do a simple little square knot. And so I take my end and my beginning, and I just do a little left over right, and then a right over left, and pull them tight. And that's it. And now I'm going to continue on with my next little skein of mandala yarn,
all the way through until I have 30 rows. And then at the end of row 30, I will be showing you guys how I do the scalloped edging on this blanket.
So now I have crocheted 30 rows, almost. I'm on my 30th right now. So I'm going to finish this row and then show you the edging. So I've got double crochet, double crochet, double crochet, chain 1, double crochet, double crochet, double crochet, chain 1. I'm so interested to know what colors you guys are doing and if you're using the same yarn as me or a different kind of yarn. No matter what, I'm sure your blanket is turning out just beautifully. Here we go with my last double crochet, chain 1, and now I'm going to slip stitch into the top of that chain 3 over here to close up this row. And now I'm going to slip stitch into this next double crochet. And now I'm going to stay there. I'm going to chain 1 and do a single crochet. Now I'm going to do 7 double crochets into this little corner right here. So here's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. And now I've got 3 double crochets here. I'm going to skip the first one and single crochet into the second one. So we've just done the first corner of our border, and the corners are 7 double crochets. Now we're going to be working along our first side, and in this first little 1 chain space, we're going to do 5 double crochets. 1 double crochet, 2 double crochets, 3, 4, and 5. And now I'm going to skip this first double crochet here and single crochet into the next one. And now we're just going to repeat that along our entire side here until we get to the next corner. So in this 1 chain space, we'll do 5 double crochets. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And now skipping the first double crochet and single crocheting into the next one, so that middle double crochet. Now skipping the next double crochet and doing 5 double crochets into that 1 chain space. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And then skip that first double crochet right here and single crochet into the next one. And let's take a look here. So you can see our cute little scallops starting to form. So we've got our pretty little corner and some cute little scallops. So we're just going to continue along this entire side and then over to that next corner. And in the corner, we'll be doing 7 double crochets and then doing the single crochet once again into that second double crochet. So that is it. That is our pattern repeat. And single crochet into the next one. But I'm going to crochet along this edge and then I'll do the next corner with you guys to show you what it looks like. There's 3. So now I am almost to my corner. I've got 3 regular shells to do and then we'll do our corner shell. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 double crochets, and then single crochet into that middle double crochet, and then 1 double crochet, 2 double crochet, 3, 4, 5, and then single crochet into our middle double crochet. And now into the next 1 chain space. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 double crochets. Single crochet into the middle double crochet. And now I'm at this 3 chain space where I'm going to put a corner shell. So all we're going to do is 7 double crochets. There's 1. There's 2, there's 3, there's 4, 5, 6, and 7. And now we're going to skip this first double crochet and single crochet into the next one. And let's take a look at our pretty little corner scallop. And you can see some of the border on this edge. It's so pretty. It's just like a nice little delicate scallop. I think it looks really nice. So now I'm just going to continue that up the next side here. So with 5 double crochets into that first chain 1 space. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and then single crochet into our middle double crochet. Ooh, and let's just see what our pretty corner looks like. Oh my goodness, I just love this color so much. And I love how the ending ended with the beautiful peach color too. I'm excited about that. But actually, the very, very end color is that dark charcoal gray, so I think part of my border might be in that color. Let's see. I just love working with color changing yarn because I feel like it keeps the project really exciting because you don't know what color you're going to get to next. I mean, in those little mandala spools, you can kind of see it, but still you don't know exactly what the transition is going to look like and all of that. You know what I mean? It's kind of like when you're reading a good book and you can't wait to see what the next chapter is, but you're enjoying the current chapter so much. That's what I feel like when I crochet with color changing yarn or self-striping yarn. It's just a really fun. Keeps it exciting. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Single crochet. All right, so you guys just continue on, and then I will meet you all the way back when we get to our very first corner and we join together at the very end. All right, and now I'm on my last couple of scallops, and we can see that my yarn did indeed change to the gray color, which is also beautiful. I love the sparkle in this yarn. So I'm gonna finish up my last couple of scallops. So I've got 1 double crochet, 2 double crochets, 3 double crochets, 4 double crochets, and 5 double crochets, and single crochet into that middle double crochet. And let's see, oh, just 2 more scallops. 1, 2, nope, 3 more scallops. And then we're all finished. And then we can grab some scissors and a little yarn needle and weave in all of these ends. So you guys can see that I used 2 of the Mandala Sparkles, and these were 328 yards each. And now at the end of this is how much I have left of the yarn. I rolled it into a ball so it would not get all tangled up, but that's it. So it was just about perfect. It was perfect at 30 rows of granny square, and then 1 beautiful little scalloped border. 3 double crochets, 4 double crochets, 5 double crochets. Oh, last little scallop. Here's 1 double crochet, 2 double crochet, 3, 4, and 5. And then we're going to slip stitch into our very first single crochet, slip stitch, and now I can finish off. But I need scissors and a little yarn needle. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and snip my yarn, pull this end out, and just weave in my ends. So we've got just this end here, and then my beginning end that will be in the very center of my granny square, and the 2 little ends from where I tied my 2 skeins of yarn together, and that is it. So once those all get woven in, here is our beautiful little granny square blanket with our beautiful little scalloped edge.
Thank you all so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this project. If you did, please give it a thumbs up and please hit that subscribe button so that you don't miss any of my future projects. And I'll see you guys on my next video. Bye.